Well, 2009 has not been kind to the magazine industry, but a few titles have managed to buck the trend. One of them is Vogue, which saw a 13% increase in readership among women this year. And I'm joined now by Tom Florio. He's the publishing director of Conde Nast, responsible for all Vogue properties as well as Bon Appetit and Conde Nast Traveler. A lot of titles, by the way, that I read at some point. Okay, so Tom, with Vogue, though, you've got to think it's because Anna Wintour, right? I mean, she's, the famous editor. That is why it's withheld.
Anna's a brilliant editor, and I think what she does, which is so consistent with what great editors have done at Vogue for 120 years, is take a brand that's very much about putting the woman at the center of the culture rather than the center of the story, and then showing them, giving them an opportunity to achieve their best sense of self. And she's done that by using fashion as an expression of culture.
But nevertheless, up 13% in readership means that there's something a bit more at work. I mean, credit to her, but also, was there something else, something deeper as to why Vogue survives?
Well, I think the reason Vogue survives is because it's constantly bringing in a newer, younger reader every so often. We've had an enormous increase in our 18 to 34 readership, which is what drove the number up, which is ironic because in your last segment you were talking about e-readers, and often the conversation in publishing is, are people reading magazines? And our largest growth is coming from a young consumer.
And why is that?
Well, this generation, which we're loosely calling millennials, their value system is really, their primary value system is be true to themselves, and they're the architects of their lives. So, for these people, Vogue is a lifestyle that they aspire to.
Okay, well, but is it also, though, that, as you know, McKinsey has come in to Conde Nast, and, we've heard a lot of press about that. Is it also because you've sort of stepped ahead of the curve in terms of cost cutting, in terms of looking at your advertising? And that is also part of the story here.
The growth of the readership has nothing to do with anyone on the outside. The growth of the readership really has to do with Anna's focus and Vogue's focus, and not compromising the magazine in the economic downturn. The kind of brilliance of McKinsey coming into the company, which is really the idea of Chuck Townsend, was to give a financial modernity to a company that's been run, in a bull market for a very long time, one way. And I think we all recognize we have to change the way we do business.
The press, though, had looked at it and thought, that is sacrilege to let McKinsey come into Conde Nast, though.
Well, Conde Nast elevates everybody, even McKinsey, I guess.
Okay, I want to get to digital e-books, or, the e-reader. How are you going to move into that space, and how are you moving into the online area without compromising your content the way we've seen newspapers do?
Well, I mean, it's a long question. We'll take it in pieces. First,
Okay, take the first one.
Chuck,
e-readers.
Our CEO has really empowered all the individual brands to be as innovative as they can in extending the brand beyond the pages of the magazine. And with his partner, Tom Wallace, who's the editorial director, they have already designed a digital reader for a magazine, and we're working alongside with Adobe to start to build this reader. And I think
like a whole magazine.
A tablet
Okay.
that will, you'll flip through and you'll touch and you'll see video and maybe e-commerce. So that's way down the road. In the near term, brands like Vogue, like Anna right now is very focused on Vogue.com, are trying to create sites that dimensionalize the experience to the magazine, but not replace the experience to the magazine.
Okay, Tom, we'll have to leave it there, but thanks for stopping by here.